Zoom. Green ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡೇ ಇಲ್ಲ.
It's all right. Can you hear me? Anybody?
Yes, sir.
It's all right. So in our, I think in your previous classes, hope you have, all of you have watched the videos of the moment of inertia that what I have shared.
Yes, sir.
It's all right. So just this is the continuation of what we have done in our previous classes. So here what we have started doing, can you see this, the slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here this one is the next one will be the narration of the one section of the moment of inertia. So here if you look at the previous cases in your centroids and as well as the moment of inertia, is the moment of inertia is the continuation of what we are done in for the centroids. The centroid, what we are doing in centroids. So here if you look at this figure, so this one is and again this one is the addition of your the rectangle and the triangle, and one cut section will be there. This unhatched portion what we can see, so this one will be the deducting part out of this entire rectangle. So this is what the steps that what we are following, right? I think all of you are following the same thing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here so what we are doing, if you look at this the statement of the problem, so find the radius of gyration of the shaded area about an axis normal to the symmetrical axis. So whenever if you are doing any of the moment of inertia problems or the centroidal problems, the statement of the problem is very important, because in statement itself your half of the work is done. It means in here if you look at this about an axis normal to the symmetrical axis. So first here if you look at this entire figure, so I can guess where is the symmetrical axis. So here if you look at this cursor, so from I have the two axes, the first one will be this one axis will be the horizontal axis, and this 2 will be the vertical axis. So here if you see this, the entire figure I have kept it in the first quadrant. So this entire figure is in the first quadrant. So whatever your x and y values will be there, so those will be in the positive values only. So there is no negative values which are involved. And the next one is, once you fix the axis, what is talking about, find the radius of gyration of the shaded area about an axis normal to the symmetrical axis. So this one, this dotted line, so I am calling it as a symmetrical axis. So what exactly mean by the symmetrical axis? The symmetrical axis is an axis where it will cut the entire body into two equal components. I mean the areas, whatever the areas that you will get, so that will be in two equal parts. So here with reference to this axis, so you can cut this entire figure into two equal parts. So if you look at this, the top portion with reference to this bottommost portion, with reference to this axis, so you can fold into two equal parts. I mean the topmost part will coincides with exactly on the bottommost part. So that's why, so this axis we are calling it as what, the symmetrical axis. So suppose if you would like to cut this entire figure into symmetrical axis like this, so this on your right hand side part will not coincides with the left hand side part, right? So that's why, so this figure is having only one symmetrical axis, so that will be the horizontal symmetrical axis is present, so there is no vertical symmetrical axis is present. So what is talking in the given problem? So find the radius of gyration of the shaded area about an axis normal to the symmetrical axis. What do you mean by the normal? Normal means which is perpendicular to this symmetrical axis. So this is the symmetrical axis, and again this one is the normal axis. So what is the angle between here this symmetrical axis and the vertical axis? So that will be 90. So this one acts as your what, the normal axis. So whatever the values which you are finding out, so that will be with reference to 2 to only I need to find out. So there is no need of calculating your 1 1. And similarly, if you look at this figure, what is the centroid of this one with reference to 1 1 axis? So directly you can find out what is the value of the CG value of this entire figure with reference to 1 1 axis. So this is the symmetrical axis which is here. So the distance between the symmetrical axis and the reference axis, so that will act as your the CG value. So what is that distance? So that distance will be the 20 millimeter. So directly you can get the value of the CG value, so that I can call it as with reference to horizontal axis. So whatever the value you will get, so that will be your vertical centroidal distance. So that will be the y bar will be, you are getting 20 millimeter. So this yellow highlighted portion will be the 20 millimeter value. And now I need to find out what is the x bar involved, because whenever if you are calculating the moment of inertia is the continuation of your the centroid. The centroid we are calling it as what? The first area moment, and your moment of inertia we are calling it as what? The second area moment. So here, if you look here, if you look at the tabulation, so here, so as we can see, it is similar to that of your centroid only. So here we have a components here. Similarly, we have an area. We have a CG about an axis. So that will be, he is talking about the symmetrical axis, which is normal to the perpendicular axis. So that's why we are calculating with reference to this 2 to axis, which will act as the normal axis corresponding to our symmetrical axis. So here AX. So this area into X. So this one acts as first area moment. So this area multiplied by this perpendicular distance. So this will act as the first area moment. And similarly, if you multiply it by the same value of the perpendicular distance with reference to the first area moment, it will act as your the second area moment. So that one will be A into X square. And again we have one more tabulation. These two additional tabulations for your the moment of inertia when you compare with your CG. So that will be I into Gy. What is this I into Gy? So this I into Gy will be the moment of inertia of any body with reference to its own centroidal axis. This Igy represent, I am repeating one more time, this Igy which will represent the moment of inertia of a body with reference to its own centroidal axis. So here once you are able to find out what is the moment of inertia of a body with reference to its own centroidal axis, the rest of the problems which are similar that what you have done in for your centroid calculations, right? So here we'll see the first thing, so that will be the first part. So here, so this is the entire figure. Whenever if is not given any of the axes, what we are doing, we are keeping this entire figure in the first quadrant. So that's what we have done. So anyhow in the given problem he has given the reference axis, the 1 and the 2 axes, and similarly he is talking about the symmetrical axis. I mean, find out the radius of gyration of the shaded area about an axis normal to the symmetrical axis. So this one is an symmetrical axis. With reference to this symmetrical axis, I need to find what is the normal axis. This 2 acts as normal axis corresponding to this symmetrical axis, right? So there is no need of finding what is the I11 value. So that will be moment of inertia with reference to 1, 1. And if you look at the dimensions of this one, so that will be, so that I can make this entire figure into 3 components. So that will be, one will be this first one. So this entire figure, this will be a rectangle, and similarly this entire figure will be your the triangle, isosceles triangle, and similarly there will be, if you look at these dimensions, this will be from here to here, this is 30 mm, and this entire height will be around 10 mm. So this one along your width wise, so that will be 10 mm, and length wide will be 30 mm. So 10 by 30 will be the unshaded portion, that will be the punched section. So out of this entire rectangle, so this one will be your the punch sections, that what we have, right? So now what are all the dimensions we have? So this width of this rectangle will be 20 mm. What is the length side? So from here to here, this is 20 millimeter, and after that the width of the length of the rectangle, the third part will be 30 mm, and again the 10 millimeter from this end to this end. The total length of your the first component will be 20 plus 30 plus 10, so that will be total 60 millimeter, and again this width will be 20 millimeter. And again if you look at this, the total width of this entire triangle from this end to this end, so this will be 20 plus 20, so that will be 40 millimeter, and again from the base to the apex, the total height of the triangle, so that will be 20 millimeter. So again by just by looking into the statement, so what you can find out, the what is the required moment of inertia. The required moment of inertia will be I22. Once you are able to find out what is the I22 involved, so I can easily calculate what is the moment of inertia of a body with reference to its own centroidal axis. So that will be Iyy, and similarly after that I can go for what is the radius of gyration. So to find out the radius of gyration, so what I need to find out what is the moment of inertia of a body with reference to its the reference axis. Similarly, I am shifting from I22 to its centroidal axis, so that will be Iyy. By using that Iyy, I can calculate what is the radius of gyration. The first thing is, where you will use this the radius of gyration value. So whenever if you would like to design any of the steel components,
So we can't hear, sir.
Can you able to hear me?
Yes,
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now you can hear?
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wait for a minute. So we have some network issues. Okay. Can you see this slide now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So all right. So we started the how to fill the table for the standard table for your centroid and the moment of inertia. Just we are adding two tables. If you look at the moment of inertia calculation till up to this position. So the tabulation which will remain same for your CG, and we are just multiplying the perpendicular distance one more time just to get the value of the second area moment. So that will be ax square, and we are taking one more component, so that will be the CG of any of the body with reference to its own centroidal axis, right? So here, look at this portion will be rectangle, this is a triangle, and this one will be again a rectangle. These are all the dimensions. So here, so we have taken the area calculation for the isosceles triangle, so that will be half into 20 cross 40. So this will be, so this is 40 and this will be 20 millimeter. And the next one will be the rectangle, the deducting part. So this will be unhatched portion that what we have. So this will be 30 by 10. So that will be 30 cross 10. So that will be 300 millimeter square. And again, the CG distance about 2 2. So that will be x in millimeter. So 2 2 will be your vertical axis. So this will be your vertical axis. I need to find out this distance. So this distance will be the horizontal distance we are expressing in terms of x, and vertical distance we are expressing in terms of y. So this x will be, how will you get? So that will be, this one will be with reference to this, what is this distance? So that will be 60 by 2. So that I have written here 60 by 2. And again for the triangle, so here if you look at this, the isosceles triangle, so this one will be the base. So with reference to 2 2, what is the distance between 2 2 and the base? So that will be 20 plus 30 plus 10. So that will be 60 millimeter. 60 plus, where is the CG locating? So CG is locating somewhere here. So that will be what? So wherever you will get the maximum area, there you will get the CG. So that will be from the base, it is 1/3. So 1/3 of the total height. So 20 divided by 3 plus of 60. So here 60 plus of 1/3 of 20, I am getting 66.67. And the next one, rectangle with reference to the 2 2 axis. So what is this distance? The base of this rectangle from the 2 2 axis will be 20. 20 plus 30 by 2. So that will be equal to 20 plus 30 divided by 2. So that will be 20 plus 15. So that will be 35 millimeter you will get. With reference to the 2 2 axis, with reference to this axis, so whatever the distance you are getting, so that will be 35 millimeter. Now we have got area and again the x distance with reference to 2 2 axis. So find out the area into x in terms of millimeter cube. So area will be millimeter, and again x millimeter square, and x will be in terms of mm. So that will be millimeter cube. So this rectangle, which is equal to 1200 multiplied by 30, you will get 36,000. And similarly, isosceles triangle 400 multiplied by 66.67, you will get 2.67 into 10 raised to 4 millimeter cube. That what you will get. And similarly for the rectangle, so area will be 300, and similarly the x distance will be 35. The area into x, so that what you will get, so that will be 10,500, that what you will get. And similarly, if you look at this area into x multiplied by x, so 36,000 multiplied by 30, so that will be area into x square. So that will be 1.08 into 10 raised to 6, that what you will get. And similarly, 2.67 into 10 raised to 4 multiplied by 66.67. So that will be 1.77 into 10 raised to 6. And the next one, what we have, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Can you see the slide?
No, sir.
Okay. Now can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's all right. So now, I hope you can see these slides.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, so where we stop? It's all right. So area into x square we are finding out. So area into x square, we have got 1.77 into 10 raised to 6 for your isosceles triangle. And similarly for the deducting part, the rectangle, so that will be 10,500 multiplied by 35, so that you will get 3.67 into 10 raised to 5 you will get. So whenever you will get the more digits, so in that condition, what you have to do, you just express in terms of 10 raised to values. So it is the good option instead of filling this table in a long way. So you just make it in terms of 10 raised to 5. Sometimes you will get 10 raised to 6 till it goes 10 raised to 9, right? So better you express in terms of 10 raised to values. And the next one will be moment of inertia, its own centroidal axis. So that will be, we have a standard formula for the rectangle. So that will be BD cube by 12 with reference to our horizontal axis. Now we are dealing with vertical axis. The thing which will change. So here, if you see, so here with reference to 2, 2, so this one acts as a width and this one acts as a depth. So now we are keeping a standard horizontal as a standard. So that's why b cube by 12. So this one is acts as, suppose this acts as a horizontal. In that condition, b d cube by 12. Both are same. So here in this formula, what we are doing, we are using db cube by 12 with reference to 2 axis. So that will be db cube by 12. What is the depth? 20 millimeter, and the width will be 60 cube by 12. So you will get in terms of 3.6 into 10 raised to 5. And similarly for the isosceles triangle, bh cube by 36. So which one acts as the width for your the triangle? So this one acts as the width. So that will be into h cube. H cube will be 20. So 40 into 20 cube by 36, you will get 8.89 into 10 raised to 3. That what you will get. This wall is for the whole component, the sum of rectangle and the isosceles triangle. Similarly, I need to deduct this, the rectangle, so that will be db cube by 12. So that will be 10 will be the depth. So here this one will be 10 will be the depth, and the width will be 30 cube. Depth into 30 cube by 12. So that will be, you will get in terms of 2.25 into 10 raised to 4. That what you will get. After that, once you are done with this, once you fill this entire tabulation, what we have to do, we have done what the same thing what we have done in the centroid. We are continuing the same tabulation. So because just to have the continuity with reference to your CG, moment of inertia, you can calculate it directly, but here the steps carries marks, and again this tabulation is not having any of the confusions. Instead of going for the direct calculation, you can use this tabulation. That means first look at the problem, and after that, so whether is having any of the reference axis, and go for the symmetrical axis, and after that go for the first area movement, second area movement. After that, the calculation of moment of inertia, its own centroidal axis, and follow this tabulation to have a perfect value instead of any of the confusions. So here the whole area, this whole area, deduct 300, so that what you will get. So 1200, 400, so that will be 1600 minus 300. How much you will get? 1300 you will get. So similarly, summation of a into x. So this summation of a into x, so that will be 5.21 into 10 raised to 4. So whatever this, add these two and minus of this, so that will be 5.21 into 10 raised to 4, that you will get. And summation of ax square, so that will be 2.49 into 10 raised to 6. So just to evaluate this table. And after that, what summation of IGY? So that will be 3.46 into 10 raised to 5, that what you will get. Once you have done this, why we are using the summation of AX? The summation of AX, we are using it to calculate what is the X bar involved. So that will be summation of AX divided by summation of A. So that you will get X bar, and similarly summation of AX square and summation of IGY, we are using it, this one, to calculate what is the moment of inertia with reference to 2 axis. So if you look at the formula is here. So what is the X bar? So X bar will be CG with reference to 2 axis. So that will be summation of AX by A. That will be 5.21 into 10 raised to 4 divided by 1300. How much you will get? 40.13 you will get. So that will be the X bar distance. So that will be with reference to this axis, the X bar will be 40.13. So somewhere 20 plus. So here, somewhere here, the CG which will lie in X bar distance. And what is the I22? Moment of inertia with reference to 2 axis. So what is the moment of inertia about this axis? So how will you calculate? I22, which is equal to moment of inertia its own centroidal axis plus summation of AX square. So that will be 3.46 into 10 raised to 5 plus 2.49 into 10 raised to 6. So this will be your I22 value. So that will be 2.83 into 10 raised to 6. So now the thing comes will be what is the moment of inertia with reference to its own centroidal axis. So that will be Iyy. So in that condition, I need x bar. So that's why use the parallel axis theorem or shifting formula to calculate what is the Iyy. So we have a formula for this one. So that will be I22, which is equal to Iyy plus of a into x bar square. So this is the reason why we are calculating x bar distance. So we know what is the area 1300 and what is the x bar 40.13 square. That will be x will be 40.13, and if you square it, that will be 40.13 square, and 2.83 into 10 raised to 6. So this will be your moment of inertia along 2 to axis. So what is Iyy? So Iyy, which is equal to 7.43 into 10 raised to 5 mm raised to 4. So this is the Iyy that what I got. And after this, once you are able to find out Iyy, so what is the radius of gyration? So how will you find out the radius of gyration? So that will be square root of Iyy. So that will be I by a. So with reference to which axis you are finding out, so I need to fill that moment of inertia value. So now Ikyy, radius of gyration about y axis, which is equal to Iyy divided by total area, the whole root. So that will be 7.48 into 10 raised to 5, 43, sorry, into 10 raised to 5 divided by 1300, the whole root. So 23.91 millimeter is the value of your Kyy. So this is how we are following. The first one will be calculate till I22 you can calculate, and after that use the parallel axis theorem and find out what is the Iyy, and after Iyy calculate what is the K value which is involved. So this is what the standard procedure that what we are following. So this is how the continuation of your centroid with reference to centroid only we are calculating what is the moment of inertia which is involved. Am I clear? I hope it is clear. If anybody having any of the doubts, you can ask me now. So is there any, if anybody is having any doubts, you can ask me in this problem. Any doubts, anybody?
No, sir.
Did you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then what we'll do, I will give one problem as a homework. We can solve this problem, and in next class, before coming to next class, we can solve this problem. So this is same as that of the previous problem. So here you can copy down this and find out what is the moment of inertia with reference to 1, 1 and 2 to axis. 1, 1 and similarly 2 to axis. Can you see this? Can you see this entire figure? The one whole triangle, out of this whole triangle we have a circle and a rectangle. This is a square 40 by 40. Similarly one semicircle. So that will be 20 by. So this will be, this radius will be 20 and this width will be acts as 40 millimeter. Right? So we left with only 4 minutes, I think. So copy down fast. I hope all of you understood this problem. Moment of inertia, how to calculate moment of inertia. If you able to calculate the centroid, half of your work is done. Just a continuation of your moment of inertia. Centroid will be the moment of inertia. So it is very easy, and again in your higher semesters also this will plays a very important role. Without calculating moment of inertia, you cannot proceed further. You guys want me to repeat any of the topics, whatever we have done till today? If you would like to repeat any of the topic, I will repeat it. If you have any of the doubts regarding centroid support reactions and the moment of inertia, because we have now finished almost 90% of the syllabus. So we just left with the kinematics that you can do it alone, because almost you have done in your 10+2 about the kinematics. It is very simple. In 2 to 3 classes, we can finish it off the entire the kinematics. So till moment of inertia, it is important. You guys want me to repeat any of the topics? Did you copy it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
then before coming to next class, I hope tomorrow I will continue one more class regarding this, and we'll wind up the moment of inertia, right? Okay. Okay, now I'm winding up this class, and we'll meet tomorrow. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.